I think I just found what was ruining Diablo 4's new expansion for me, and honestly it might change the way I play games from now on. I'll be the first to admit I was extremely excited for this new expansion to come out. Between the new class, which honestly looked insane, the darker story, and of course the endgame rework, on paper Lord of Hatred is exactly what I wanted, and it should be an easy win for me. But it wasn't. I was extremely, and I mean extremely, bored. And I know what you're gonna ask. If the game is so good on paper, then why am I bored? And that's exactly what was bothering me, because this wasn't just me hating the game or being angry and confused. I was just simply not having fun. And I told myself it could just be the slow part of the campaign, or the build hasn't come online yet. Maybe, just maybe, if I hit endgame soon, the fun will arrive, right? But that excuse would create an even bigger question. I know now how this story would end if I continued, because I would just push into the endgame and get as far as I could, still being bored, and eventually just blame Diablo 4 and quit. I would walk away convinced that the expansion still has a ton of work to do, and maybe the next one will be better. So what then was actually ruining it? This is where I had to admit something I'm not sure most people even realize, that if on paper the game has everything I want, hell, everything I asked for, then maybe it's not the game that has the problem. Maybe Diablo 4 wasn't boring me, maybe I was making it boring for myself. More recently in my gaming career, I've gone the route of doing things like solo self-found or making a game harder than it should be to restore some semblance of challenge and discovery to the game. I've found some immense joy in doing so, and no, this isn't going to be an instance where I switch to hardcore and magically have an amazing time. As I sat there and looked over at my second monitor, I saw what I thought was the problem: guides. It was such an easy answer. I needed to stop having every answer solved for me. No max roll or icy veins to tell me the most insanely efficient way to level, or even to tell me which class was the best in each season. After all, most of the fun in a game for me is discovery, right? Now don't get me wrong here. Guides are not evil, and this isn't a never use guides again type of video. My realization branches way beyond that, because a guide can genuinely save you when you're stuck, or unlock that one idea that saves you hours of frustration. No, what I'm talking about is a term I'm gonna call pre-solving, which is where you seek to solve and know every answer the game has in store for you before allowing it to even ask the question. Before experiencing any form of friction or discovery, you're looking up all the answers and essentially ruining that first bite of a game for yourself. I even realized that I'm kind of terrified of wasting what little time I have to play games, and this causes me to seek out the most efficient way or the best build possible. And by doing so, I essentially just strip the fun out of the game. I strip the soul and the fun out of the game simply because I know everything now. I've read it all. I played the game without even playing the game. And this is where the bigger issue comes into play, because I don't play games anymore. I read about them or watch a video on it. I don't discover builds, I verify them against how much time I have, all while wondering why games are, well, boring now. Luckily, I realized this before progressing much more into the Diablo 4 expansion, and I actually saved the rest of it for myself. I stopped treating inefficient choice like a threat, and I started treating inefficiency like discovery. My Necromancer build was originally just gonna be a minion build, but now it's a hybrid between that and Corpse Explosion. Warlock has become some weird aura warlock that is surprisingly working, and I still have yet to figure out the new crafting system beyond put stuff in cube and stuff comes out. But you know what? I'm having a blast doing it this way. I'm discovering new things, and I finally let Diablo 4 do the thing games are supposed to do: surprise you. I finally let my own self-discovery guide me with these builds and with this new gear, instead of reading everything about it beforehand. Maybe this is the rule I'm going to be taking into every game from now on. I'm not going to look for the answer before I've felt the question. I'm not going to pre-solve. I'm just going to let the game waste a little bit of my time, let it confuse me a little bit, and if I really need a guide, great, I'll go for it. But don't let guides take that first bite, because I almost ruined Diablo 4's new expansion by trying to avoid wasting time. And now I'm wondering how many games games have I already ruined this way? So I need to know, am I crazy? Am I just going off the rails here, guys? Or do you do this too? Are you a guide first player? Or do you struggle and find the answers for yourself? Let me know below, and as always, thank you for watching.